Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Happy to be here this morning.
What's your first, I guess, piece of advice for people who might be in these touchy situations?
Well, these situations are almost always touchy. So the first bit of advice is, if you have an employee manual, look at it, because you always want to know what your employer wants you to do about it. The second most important thing is make sure you're documenting and telling a trusted person about what is happening.
When you say document, paper trail, or do you just mean conversation?
If somebody said something to you or did something to you and you said, I don't like that,
right,
I don't want that, don't do it again, it's never a bad idea to follow that up with an email and saying, I'm glad we spoke about this. I look forward to a professional relationship here on. That way, not only have you taken care of the problem, or hopefully taken care of the problem, but you've documented it. So if it comes back again or it continues, you have a way of saying, this is where it started.
Sometimes there's fear in that, though. People are scared of the repercussions or what could come as a result of speaking up for themselves. Is that right?
Absolutely. And sometimes the repercussions are actually the hardest part that someone has to deal with, because you don't know who has relationships with whom, and you don't know how embedded that boss is, or how embedded even the coworker could be, and it's a very difficult situation to navigate for anybody. And I always suggest that you get recommendations from people, not just from family, or seek out a professional, because it is not an easy navigation.
When you're meeting these people on the other side of your desk in your office, how emotional of a process is this for people?
It's a very emotional process, because the only thing closer to you than your family is your job, and right, for some people the job is even closer. So so when someone is doing something that threatens your job, it is a very personal and very emotional thing. And that is the first part of it, is sometimes taking somebody back and saying, let's look at this from a way that you can manage it and try to be a little less emotional. That's why a lawyer is there. The job is to be less emotional and look at it in a way that solves the problem.
Sometimes when situations happen, people start talking in office spaces. I don't know if it's gossip or if it's like healthy conversations. Is there power in numbers? Should you start saying, I've heard about this person 3 or 4 different times now, maybe it's not just me?
Well, a conversation is never bad, but you have to also be careful. Again, you don't know what somebody that you may be saying this to, what their position is on
right.
it. It's good to keep your eyes open, know who you're close to, speak to those people first, and once you feel that you can't handle it, you should definitely report it. If that initial, hey, I don't like that, that's not appropriate, don't do it again. If that didn't stop, then you need to take the next steps and ask for advice on how to do that.
Hearing these stories now and people speaking out many years later sometimes gives women and men the courage to start speaking out. Is it ever too late?
Well, from a legal standpoint, it can be. From a personal standpoint, I don't know that it ever is. But from a legal standpoint, absolutely. The time periods to bring a claim are rather short in Pennsylvania, especially a little longer in New Jersey. But in Pennsylvania, under the state law, it's only 180 days to bring your claim, and under the federal law, 300 days to bring a claim of sexual harassment. New Jersey, you're looking at 2 years under their state law. So the time periods can be very, very short as far as bringing a claim. But as far as solving the problem, it's never too late.
Perfect. Edith, thank you so much.
You're welcome.